My brother is the apple of our family's eye. After he impulsively killed my boyfriend, my parents didn't hesitate to push me to take the blame. They said, "Your brother is the only son we have. Just help him out." Later, I was sentenced to life in prison. After my sentence was reduced, I saw them living a happy life together as a family. One time while driving, I drove the car into the river. When I woke up again, I was 2 hours before my boyfriend was killed. I drowned. After the car sunk, I locked all the doors and watched my family die painfully in front of me. My brother, sitting in the passenger seat, even tried to strangle me when he found the doors wouldn't open. But he didn't make it. He croaked before he could touch me. I watched them struggle in the car and slowly closed my eyes. Drowning was painful, but I found peace. I could finally be with my Eric. My parents, brother, and sister-in-law all died. Good. You can all go to hell together. I suddenly jolted awake at my desk. Past scenes were flashing in my mind. Looking at the familiar office, my hands wouldn't stop shaking. I quickly grabbed my phone and checked the time, and tears started streaming down my face. It was 8:18 p.m. on June 14, 2023. It was tonight that my boyfriend was tricked by my sister-in-law, Fiona, to their house and brutally killed by my brother. In my previous life, I fell asleep from working overtime and missed my boyfriend's call. I hastily grabbed my coat and phone, asking a colleague to cover for me. "Emily, I need you to request leave for me from the director. It's an emergency. I don't mind if they dock my pay," I said and rushed out. I kept dialing my boyfriend's number, begging him to pick up. "Please, pick up, pick up." The other side showed his phone was off. I called over a dozen times without getting through. I panicked for a moment. No, I have to stay calm. This is a second chance from above. It's gotta mean something. When I got down the elevator, I flagged a cab. "To my brother's house. Please hurry. It's urgent." "Thank you." I sat in the cab, feeling the seat beneath me. I leaned back a little, smiling to hold back my tears. Looking at the unconnected number, I clenched my hands, trying to stay calm. Once my emotions settled, I closed my eyes, starting to plan my revenge. In this life, I will not only save my boyfriend, but also make those hypocrites pay back double. I tried to control my trembling hands and looked at the phone that still wasn't connecting. There's still time, there must be. This time, I won't let them hurt anyone close to me again. I'll protect them. It was still a half-hour drive, and I was still dialing. "Come on, Eric, please pick up." I prayed silently in my heart. Suddenly, the cab came to a jarring stop. Fortunately, I was wearing a seatbelt and wasn't hurt. "Sorry, there seems to be an accident up front," the driver said apologetically. I shook my head, indicating it was okay, but in my heart, I was frantic about Eric not picking up. "Anna," hearing Eric's voice. I was stunned for a few seconds, and the tears started flowing uncontrollably. It had been so long since I last heard his voice. "Anna, what's wrong? What happened?" Eric asked, sensing something amiss from my silence. I hurriedly wiped my eyes. "Nothing, Eric, where are you now?" There was no time to reminisce. I had to stop the tragedy quickly. "Oh, I'm at a place you'd never guess." Eric still sounded as lively as always, still teasing me like in my past life. But now, I didn't have the energy to indulge in nostalgia. I asked urgently, "Where? Please, don't be where I think you are." "I can't say yet," Eric said, sounding a bit troubled but also playful. The ring I found on Eric's body last life flashed in my mind. That fool was probably preparing a surprise for me. The good news is, he hadn't reached Evan's house yet, so I should still make it in time. "Eric, listen to me. Stay where you are. I'm coming to find you, okay?" Before I could finish, the line went dead. I called back anxiously, but his phone was off again. With no other options, I noticed the little doll on my bag, my best friend's gift. "Yes, Molly, I need to contact Molly." Molly was my best friend, and her husband was Eric's close buddy. They might know where Eric is roughly. I stared tensely at the screen as the call connected. Thankfully, Molly picked up. I breathed a sigh of relief. "Molly, can you ask Mike where Eric bought the ring? His phone is off, and it's urgent." Molly responded quickly. "Anna, don't worry. I'll ask Mike right away." "Mike, Anna's asking where Eric bought the ring. Anna found out. He shouldn't have let it slip." "Oh, Eric's probably behind it." After a minute, Molly returned. "Anna, Mike said it's likely a shop near the square, but is not sure exactly. Eric was probably at some custom store. You can try looking there." "Got it, Molly. Thanks. I'll treat you all to dinner soon." I hung up and quickly redirected the driver to the square. If Fiona had contacted him before I made the call, Eric could easily repeat his tragedy from the last life. Hopefully, that worst-case scenario won't happen. We arrived. I quickly paid the fare and got out. With crowds bustling, I worked hard to spot him. I will never forget what he wore the day he went missing. White hoodie and black pants. It's been etched in my mind all these years. But with over 100 jewelry stores, searching one by one was impossible. Then, Eric's phone rang. Anna, sorry, my phone died earlier. What did you say last? I didn't hear it. Suppressing my excitement, I tried to keep my voice calm. I just said don't. I couldn't risk putting him in danger with those words if he was already at my brother's. Nothing serious, just missing you. Mike mentioned you got a surprise planned. I'm at the square now. You found out, Mike, but, Anna, you're quick. I'm not even there anymore. Where are you? I blurted loudly. We'll discuss other stuff later. Seeing Eric still acting all carefree, I felt like ants on a hot pan. Super anxious. Anna, don't freak out. I'm at your brother's place now. Hearing that hit me like a ton of bricks. It knocked the wind out of me. My knees went wobbly. Anna, hey, what's wrong? Why aren't you talking? My nails were almost digging into my palms. I trembled as I said, Eric, you need to get out. Like right now. I'll be there soon. I tossed my heels into my bag and took off, sprinting like a lunatic towards my brother's place. I swear I ran as fast as I ever have, praying, let it be in time. Just let it be in time. I got to the complex entrance in just 3 minutes, but the security guy stopped me, probably because of my wild look and the fact that I was barefoot. He didn't think I was a resident. I pulled out my phone and showed him the electronic contract for the apartment purchase, with both mine and my brother's names on it. I looked after my brother's place. My parents once said that if I bought him a house, he'd stop asking me for money. Anna, your brother is our only son. Help him out, and we promise we won't ask for more. My mom held my hand, sounding all gentle, which was rare for her. I believed her. I worked myself to the bone, almost to the point of breaking down, until I finally gathered enough for the down payment. But, just in case, I insisted they put my name on the deal. I promised them I'd remove my name once my brother got married, as long as they honored the agreement. But this time, they won't get a single thing from me. The security guy checked the contract and my messy appearance, and though he seemed skeptical, he let me through. I sighed with relief and got into the elevator, slipping back into my heels. Just as the doors were closing, a familiar hand stopped them. Anna, what are you doing here? My brother Evan staggered in, clearly wasted. Seeing him made my blood boil with rage. He didn't notice my anger. Instead, he draped an arm over my shoulder. Hey sis, long time no see, you miss me? The alcohol on his breath was overwhelming. I almost gagged as he leaned in, taking in a big whiff. You smell nice. I glanced down and stomped hard on his shoe, adding a twist for good measure. Ouch, what the hell, Anna? He hopped around, clutching his foot. I straightened my hair and smiled at him. Oops, my bad. Just thought you needed sobering up. Accidental, huh? You twisted your heel right into me. He raised a hand, ready to strike, but I grabbed his wrist. He was stunned, probably not expecting me to stand up to him. Relax, everything I endured in jail won't go unanswered. I glared at him, like some demon from hell. Real men don't hit women. Before he could react, the elevator opened. Since apartments here had direct elevator access, we saw Fiona standing provocatively in the doorway. Eric was standing a bit farther back, staring at her in anger. At the sound of the elevator, everyone just stared, dead silent. I shoved Evan aside and kicked the Fiona lookalike out of my way, throwing in a couple more kicks for good measure, for trying to seduce my boyfriend. Then I rushed to hug Eric. Thank God, you're okay. My eyes welled up, my throat tightened. I was too choked up to speak. My heart felt shredded, my breath was heavy and labored. My lip quivered, holding him like he'd vanish any second. Eric finally hugged me back. It's okay, Anna. It's okay. Eric, what are you doing at my place? And Fiona, what the hell are you wearing? I turned to Evan. He looked shocked and pissed at the mess unfolding. Half sobering up from my heel stomp, Evan was less impulsive than in the last life. You gotta believe me, Fiona was hurriedly explaining to Evan. Eric forced me into this outfit. He said he wanted me. I refused, so I stood by the elevator. I nearly laughed at the spectacle of Fiona clutching Evan's pant leg, trying to plead her case. Eric was fuming, ready to speak up. I shook my head, squeezing his hand to calm him down. He shouldn't get involved, or it might go down like last time, ending up pointless. I walked over, glaring, and slapped Fiona twice. Fiona, Don't you dare blame Eric. He's faithful. Why would he come to my brother's place to meet you when it's so easy to get caught? Fiona clutched her cheek, looking at me incredulously. Anna, how dare you hit me? I shot her a cold look. I doubt this family wants a daughter-in-law like you. Right, Evan? My brother was taken aback. Didn't expect his usually mellow sister to get all violent. When he didn't respond, I grabbed a water bottle off the table and splashed him. Anna, you've lost it today. Evan, soaked, fumed at me. Fiona was also staring, wide-eyed. I smirked, tilting my head. Guess I've got a condition, an urge to hit people. When your girlfriend hits on mine, why shouldn't I be mad? If I hadn't called Eric today, I wouldn't even know. I'd suggest finding a new partner. Someone like her will ruin this family's peace. Seeing the tension boil over, Eric quickly stepped between us. Evan, it's like Anna said. Fiona invited me, claiming you needed to talk to me about Anna's stuff. So I came. I didn't find you, but I found her dressed like that. I tried to leave, and then you guys showed up. You're lying. That's not true, believe me. Fiona cried, all teary-eyed. Evan wanted to comfort her. He looked around the messy scene, soaking wet and fuming. He gave us a cold glare, then grabbed Fiona by the neck and asked, do you dare to swear? Swear that you didn't lure Eric today? Fiona's face turned purple as she quickly said, I swear. If I'm lying, I'll die a horrible death. I crossed my arms, watching them coldly. Since you dare to swear, I'll just wait for karma to catch up with you. Evan heard her swearing and seemed to ease his grip. Fiona couldn't help but cough. Evan looked at us with disdain. Fiona dared to swear. Eric, do you dare? Why wouldn't I? Eric blurted out, before I clamped a hand over his mouth and shook my head. There's no need to prove ourselves to people like that. A simple oath and you believe it. You're too kind, I said, clapping for them. What do you mean, Anna? As my own sister, you don't believe Fiona? I scoffed. You're so love-struck. She's deceiving you, and you still believe her. Evan's eyes blazed with rage, raising his hand to strike me. Eric pulled me behind him and kicked Evan. Evan clutched his chest, stumbled back a few paces. Evan, I respected you only because of Anna, but now it seems you're not worth it. From now on, we go our separate ways. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless. Just as Evan was about to launch into another tirade, the elevator doors opened. Standing there were my parents, the ones who had me thrown in jail to take the fall for my brother. Clearly, my brother and Fiona were stunned. Yes, I called them. I texted Dad as soon as I entered the housing complex. I smiled, walked over to my brother, and whispered in his ear, surprise, your beloved parents are here. I watched him get so angry that the veins on his arms were bulging. Good, the angrier he gets, the happier I am. Dad saw the mess in the living room, frowned, and asked, what's going on? Anna said you got drunk, so we came to help. And Fiona, what are you wearing? What's the meaning of this? Mom looked around, displeased with Fiona. I stood by Eric and said, Dad, Mom, let me explain. Fiona shamelessly tried to seduce Eric. Luckily, I came to find my brother today. Otherwise, if my brother was drunk and saw her like this alone with a man, what if he accidentally hurt someone? Stop lying, I didn't. Eric forced me, she said, her voice turning teary. Watching her act, I almost wanted to give her an award. Before I could retort, Eric took out his phone and played a recording. Eric, have a seat. Let me get you a cup of tea. Fiona's sultry voice came through. Where's Evan? Didn't he have something to discuss with me? Ignore him. This is a great opportunity for us to chat. No way, he's not here. So I'll leave now. Fiona's pouty voice continued. Don't go, Eric. How am I lacking compared to Anna? I'm good looking and have the figure. Why won't you accept me? Eric's disgusted voice replied. Don't touch me. Aren't you going to be Evan's wife soon? You're still trying to seduce my girlfriend's boyfriend. Do you have no shame? But I've always liked you. You know that. I've liked you for years. Why did Anna end up being your girlfriend? I only got close to Evan for you. If you agree to be with me, I'd break up with Evan. The room was tense. Evan couldn't contain himself and kicked Fiona, sending her flying. You traitor. I've been working hard outside, and you betrayed me. The recording played on, but no one was listening anymore. The truth was obvious. Fiona continued crying, and I rolled my eyes. Is she ever going to stop? So everyone heard that, right? Who's really twisting the truth here? Mom, Dad, how do you plan to deal with this? I threw the question at them, curious to see their choice. Mom spoke solemnly, grasping my brother's hand. Evan, maybe consider moving on. This kind of woman isn't worthy of our family. Dad glanced at Fiona, nodding heavily. Fiona clutched her stomach, crawling to Evan and grabbing his clothes. Please don't abandon me. I won't dare again. My brother shrugged her off, but this time she fainted. Whether she was pretending or not, we took her to the hospital to be safe. She was generally fine, but was found to be pregnant. I was planning to reveal everything bit by bit, but this was unexpected. Hearing she was pregnant Evan and my parents were thrilled and quickly forgave her. They took turns trying to persuade me. Anna, forgive Fiona. In the end, we're family. Plus, she's carrying our family's child, my mom said with a rare gentle tone. Looks like no family supports you again in this life, Anna. My eyes were cold. Just because there's a child, you can't let it go. If I hadn't shown up today, considering my brother's temper and Fiona's acting skills, Eric might not have had time to explain before my brother beat him. But that didn't happen, right? How can you speak about your brother like that? It didn't happen, and you want me to forgive? I continued. I won't forgive. Mom, Dad, today you have to choose between Fiona and me. If my brother insists on marrying Fiona, I won't take my name off the house. Evan aggressively came over, glaring at me. Anna, I never thought you'd be so cruel. Fiona's pregnant. Where can she go? I won't let my child wander. I wasn't angry. Instead, I slapped him, deliberately raising my voice. Evan, I'm cruel. It's surprising you're so devoted. Your wife cheated, and you still defend her. This slap is to wake you up. Almost everyone in the hallway turned to look at us. Evan was furious, and my dad stopped him. Dad said to me quietly but sternly, Anna, we're here to tell you, not to negotiate. You have to accept this sister-in-law today, no matter what. I chuckled inside, unsurprised by my forceful father. Mom tenderly caressed Evan's face where I'd slapped him, looking concerned. She scolded me, Anna, how could you hit your brother? What if you hurt him? I thought back to how she showed no concern for me when I was thrown in jail. If you're just here to inform me, I replied, then there's nothing more to discuss. Evan, I'm giving you 10 days to move out of the house. I paid the down payment, and I've been paying the mortgage. I have all the receipts. Anna, that's unfair. Evan argued, my name's on the deed too. I should at least get half. I raised an eyebrow. You think a name means you get money? Ridiculous. Learn some law. I'm done with this argument. I'll see you in court. Anna, my mom yelled, is this how you treat your family? Are you really going to take us to court? If I knew you'd be so ungrateful, I would have snuffed you out back then. Her anger told me they'd show their true colors when their interests were threatened. I snorted. Family, you side with some tramp over your own sister and daughter because she's pregnant. You wish. If that's the case, let's stop pretending we're family. From now on, we have nothing to do with each other. They didn't expect me to say that outright, but I've had enough of playing their games. Better to cut ties early than shave years off my life. Anna, how can you say that? Over one small incident, you want to sever ties with your parents. You're unfilial. Dad clutched his chest, outraged. Dad, are you alright? Anna, look at what you've done to him. Evan hurried to steady my dad. You can't let anything happen to him. Mom rushed to support him too. I was exhausted and just walked out of the hospital. I dreamt again, the kind I've had since going to jail, nightmares. This time, it was the day they took me away. The police arrested me and found my boyfriend's body in my closet. After they found his body, I said nothing, willingly wore the handcuffs, and followed the officers out. As they led me out, my parents and brother were at the door talking with the police. My mom was frantically pleading with them. My daughter couldn't do this. You must investigate thoroughly. I believe her. Yes, we raised her. Anna wouldn't do such a thing. Dad chimed in. Meanwhile, the real murderer, my brother, was calmly comforting them, saying, she'll be fine, even if it's manslaughter. His words immediately made me a suspect of murder. How did I not see that he was such a smooth talker before? My parents always said I was their beloved daughter, and wished me a peaceful, happy life. Yet, when our house caught fire, they only took Evan out, forgetting me in another room. I was 6 years old then. Fortunately, the fire wasn't too severe, so I was unscathed. But since then, I've stopped believing in their so-called love. I only trust myself. So I've worked hard at every job, never complaining, even after consecutive days of overtime, because only money gives me security. In the moment Evan killed my boyfriend, when they asked me to take the fall for my brother, and when they threatened me with someone I cherished, every bit of hope and trust one had in them vanished. Even though they never truly loved or trusted me, I still treated them like family. But now, I feel no affection for them anymore. I just wanted to die quickly. The blow from my boyfriend's death, and the pain from their threats was suffocating me. I didn't want to act in their phony family drama anymore. As I sat there in the patrol car with handcuffs on, an officer came to report a finding. We found a ring on the deceased. My eyes widened, and the police and I spoke at once. A ring. Was there any marking on it? He turned to me, studying my face. At the doorway, my family and brother seemed to sense something ongoing, trying to convey a message with their eyes. I knew my reaction might have been too extreme. I lowered my head, staying silent. My body trembled, betraying my agitation. My nails dug deep into my skin, yet I felt no pain at all. The officer, seeing I quieted down, ordered his guys to keep examining the body, and took me back to the station. Maybe I was just too drained, and I slept for 2 straight days. When I woke up again, I was on a hospital bed, noticing the four. I anxiously looked for Eric's presence, calling out hoarsely, "Eric, Eric." My throat felt like a gravel path. "Anna, you're awake. Don't move, you've gotten 4. You scared me to death." "I'm so glad you're okay." Molly hurried over, helping me sit up and handing me water. My brain was still caught up in the dream, but instinctively I took the drink. "Molly, how long have I been out?" I asked softly, finally able to speak with less parched lips as I looked at her beautiful face. 2 days. You almost gave Eric a heart attack. He was home planning a surprise, but the moment you walked in, you collapsed. It was 2 in the morning. Eric drove you to the hospital and called us. The doctors said it was sudden arrhythmia, probably from all that overtime. You can't keep working like that. Molly looked a bit angry as she spoke. Okay, thanks, Molly. I promise to take it easy from now on, I said, holding her hand. Thankfully, I still had a good friend by my side. No need to thank me. Eric hasn't slept much these past 2 days. He's just downstairs paying the bill. Don't worry, Molly said. Just then, the room's door swung open. Seeing Eric again brought a wave of bittersweet feelings, but this time, he didn't disappear. Molly looked at us meaningfully, saying, "I'll leave you guys alone. Mike's waiting for me for hot pot." Then she waved and shut the door. Eric and I just looked at each other. Neither of us knew what to say. Noticing how drained I looked, Eric didn't scold me. Instead, he just held me gently, comforting me. After a while, I calmed down and spoke up. "I'm sorry, I must have scared you that day. I won't work overtime like that again." Eric, holding my hand, looked a bit serious. "You did scare me. A lot happened that day. You didn't let me go to the hospital with you, so I waited at home. Next thing I knew, you fainted." "What happened at the hospital?" I softly traced his handsome features with my fingers, looking tenderly into his eyes. "Nothing really. Essentially, my family and I really broke ties. Fiona's pregnant." Suddenly, Evan and my parents expect me to forgive her. But there's no way I can forgive such a liar, especially when she's after my boyfriend. So, when they tried to pressure me, I told them to pack up and get out of my house. Thankfully, I kept all the house purchase evidence, and my name's on the title too. "Anna, whatever you want to do next, I'll support you." "Need me to do anything?" Eric asked, wrapping my hand in his. "I need a lawyer," I said firmly. "I won't let them take a single thing that's mine." Eric nodded, agreeing to handle it without me having to get involved. I happily kissed him. "Eric, once this is settled, I have something else to tell you. It might sound crazy, but promise me you'll believe me this time." I bit my lip nervously. "What is it?" "Anna, don't worry. I'll believe whatever you say." Looking into his eyes, I continued, "While working overtime, I had a dream. It felt so real. In it, you were killed by my brother. My brother and my parents tried to make me take the fall. I refused, wanting to turn them in, but they threatened my grandma, saying they'd kill her too, if I didn't agree. I'm sorry, I caved in the end. Even if it meant going down with them, I couldn't bear to see Grandma suffer. I didn't get justice for you in that world. You died for nothing." Recalling those painful memories, tears streamed down my face, chest tightening and breathing became hard. Eric seemed shocked by what I said, but gently rubbed my back to help me breathe. "Anna, it's okay. It's not your fault. You did nothing wrong to dream Eric. If I were him, I wouldn't blame you. You had no choice. Look, I'm right here, okay? No, if I had gone down with them, the police would have uncovered the truth eventually. You wouldn't have died in vain. It's my fault for being weak. It's all my fault. I was too late." It felt like I was spiraling. Eric placed my hand on his cheek. "Anna, look at me. I'm here. It was just a dream. Trust me, it won't happen." "Really, it won't?" I asked, feeling lost. He wiped my tears, reassuringly saying, "It won't. I will always be by your side. I won't die, and you won't go to jail for Evan. I'll protect us both." I nodded, resting on his shoulder, sharing my revenge plan with him. Thanks to Eric taking good care of me, I was ready to leave the hospital. Eric got me a week off work. Once out, I arranged a job transfer. The director had always suggested I work in City A, which is also Eric's hometown. I had held back before because of my parents, but now it's time to act. Eric stayed in this city for me, so if I transfer, his family can be together too. But for now, Eric and I haven't moved to City A, because the plan's just starting. I know my brother has a bit of a gambling habit, so whenever he's out of money, he goes to my parents. They are reluctant to see their savings gone, but they still spoil their precious son, so they'd come to me for money instead. I'd been brainwashed by them growing up, so I kept giving them money. But now, it's time they pay for it. Evan gambles but doesn't dare bet big. I plan to stir that up. With Eric's help, I had all the local underground casinos, especially Evan's favorites, checked out. Eric, Do you think I'm being too cruel, doing this to my family? I asked, looking up at him. Eric smiled, wrapping his arms around me from behind. Anna, whatever you do, I'll support you. They are paying for their past wrongs. Don't feel guilty. I'm right here with you. Eric buried his face in my neck. Anna, I've missed your cooking. Eric's efficiency was impressive. He soon found the underground spots Evan frequents. I had Eric set people to watch him, and conveniently, the lawyer Eric hired showed up. I explained everything to the lawyer. He said I had grounds to demand they leave, but if they refused, it'd go to court. As expected, 10 days passed, and they were still cozy in the house. I sued them, but it was all managed by the lawyer, keeping me out of it. Quickly, they were forced out, but they were sly enough to get reporters to spread rumors that I was ungrateful. Do they think they can pressure me with the media? I countered by releasing a recording online for everyone to hear. This stirred even more buzz, tarnishing Fiona's reputation. She's now holed up in my parents' house, supposedly resting, but really avoiding the shame. Meanwhile, Evan's been upping the stakes at gambling since losing the house. He's hoping for a quick win. I set a trap for him. During a bet, he won 10 times his stake. That victory fueled his craze, enticing him to gamble with larger sums. And he kept winning, the rewards pouring in. A gambler's heart just keeps getting bolder. He ended up betting all his assets. When he put everything on the line in one go, I made him lose. He panicked and secretly used my parents' assets to gamble. This time, I let him win, and he was completely hooked. He even embezzled company funds for gambling. He probably thought he could win it all back instantly, but I set the trap. Evan lost everything and went nuts at the casino. They didn't put up with his behavior and promptly kicked him out. He became a complete mess. Evan's face twisted with rage, his eyes bloodshot from anger. The sleepless nights gambling made the red veins spread across his whole eyes. He looked at Fiona like a demon straight out of hell. He grabbed her neck, demanding, "Where's the lover? You shameless woman, while I'm busting my ass off, you're keeping a pretty boy on the side." He lost it completely, broken in debt to loan sharks. His anger reached a peak. Since that recording incident, he had been suspicious of Fiona, thinking himself cuckolded. No, honey, look at me, it's Fiona," she gasped, struggling as he choked her. Evan thought she was still lying and tightened his grip. Gradually, her struggle stopped, and Evan let go, realizing Fiona was gone, and she was pregnant too. He panicked, coming to his senses. He checked her breath, trembling as he pulled his hand back. My parents walked in at just that moment, shocked to their core. He fell to his knees, pleading, "Mom, Dad, you've got to help me, please. It was an accident, her fault." They were scared too, never imagined their beloved son could end up killing someone. Watching my parents fret like ants on a hot pan, it seemed they suddenly thought of a solution. I glanced at an unfamiliar number on my phone. They weren't half bad, opening a new line like that. My eyes were cold and devoid of any warmth. "Who is it? Anna, do you have time now? Can you come over? We need to talk." "What about?" My voice was as cold as speaking to a stranger. "It's urgent, Anna. We're still your parents. We'll formally apologize this time." Same old trick from the past life. "Look, Anna, even in a new life, you're still a scapegoat." "Okay, I'll be right over." As soon as I stepped in, Evan begged on his knees, "Anna, you have to save me. I didn't do it on purpose. I don't want to go to jail." I looked at the chaotic scene and Fiona's corpse, eyes closed in death. With a slight smile, I lifted his chin and whispered, so only we could hear, "Evan, you didn't say that in the last life." His eyes widened with fear. "What do you mean? What last life?" I didn't respond, wiped my fingers where they touched his chin with a tissue, stepped on his hand with my high heel and turned it hard. "My hand, Anna, you bitch." Evan's scream followed. My parents rushed over to stop me. I nimbly dodged and quickly moved toward Eric, waiting at the door. Before arriving, I had Eric call the police. At 9:18 p.m., only 10 minutes until Evan would be arrested, and I, cozy in my boyfriend's arms, watched the despair that once belonged to me. "This time, I won't let you get away. Evil deserves hell." The police soon locked down the scene, and Evan was arrested. As he was led to the patrol car, he struggled, shouting, "I didn't kill anyone. Mom, Dad, you have to save me." But this time, no one could take the fall for him. I watched my parents kneeling, desperately begging, just like last life, when they forced me to confess. "My dear parents, you still don't know your son gambled away all your assets, do you? If you knew, would you still plead for him like this?" I anonymously sent evidence of Evan's embezzlement to his company email. Predictably, the company immediately investigated and prosecuted Evan. I also leaked the whole event of Evan murdering Fiona to the media. Spent big bucks to have the media widely report it. Facing multiple charges, with public opinion against him, Evan couldn't dodge the death penalty. My parents came to me again again, asking me to pull strings to lighten my brother's sentence. What a joke. I'd be happy to see him dead as soon as possible. Why would I let him off? I threw Evan's property sale agreement at them, told them to think about how they'll spend the rest of their lives without money. They never thought Evan had gambled all their wealth away. My mom had a stroke from the shock. Now they were homeless, couldn't even afford medical bills. I placed them in a nursing home, paid for 20 years upfront, but required the staff to keep a close watch on them. After settling everything, I sold my house and moved to City A with Eric. Brought my grandma along too. Though she wasn't blood related, she felt more like family. Without them in my life, things were much quieter, and Eric and I spent more time together. Eric took me to meet his parents. They were wonderful, welcoming us warmly. Seeing his parents in high spirits, compared to the last life where they turned grey overnight after Eric's death, I was relieved. Eric proposed afterward, and I accepted. On our engagement day, I was daydreaming on a swing, staring at the sky. Eric hugged me from behind. Anna, what's up? I smiled softly. Nothing, it's nice to always see the blue sky.